Hello and welcome to another update video about QNT. So for QNT, we're still watching two scenarios here that could unfold. Let me give you a brief recap. First scenario, which has sort of turned into the main scenario, even though you must understand probabilities are here very close together, because basically the previous one, or let's call it the second or the alternative scenario, is still valid. Yeah, the price has purely dropped a little bit too much for it, but it was recovered. That price level was recovered within a day. So it's on a very thin line, that other scenario I'm going to show you as well. So very, very close probabilities. But what I can tell you here is the key levels to watch out for, which will shift the odds towards one or the other scenario. Okay. I'm also going to give you my preference. So the idea is here that that QNT rallied in 5 waves back between June and October. It then came down in an A wave, rallied in a B wave, and is now coming down in a C wave. Now, that's a very valid scenario. Before we had the wave 2 sit here on the left-hand side, I've always had problems with that, and you will remember that if you've been watching these videos, that the whole advance that took like 3 to 4 months, that it all gets corrected within, I don't know, 3 weeks is it's just a bit unrealistic, a bit short. So from that point of view, I always hesitated to put the wave 2 here. But I did it in the end, especially when we broke above that 100, I think it was $125 at the time. Yeah, and then it did really reach our target, and we said it could be this scenario. So we need to be watching this area here after the breakout, but before reaching a new high, for a possible weakness in a B wave. So that allows us to understand this possible 3-wave structure as a B wave, and now not an impulse, but a diagonal pattern on the way here to the downside. This would be, at the moment, the primary scenario, but it doesn't take much to shift the odds towards the other scenario. Again, I'm going to show you the difference. The other scenario indicates that we rallied, in a wave 1, that indeed the wave 2 did finish here, where I currently have the alternative wave 2, and that then in this wave 3, so basically in this scenario, we are already in the 3rd wave, that should take us to $400 plus. In this scenario, we created a wave 1, a wave 2, and then we thought initially it could be a 3, but it came down too much, so it can't be a 3-4. So it must be, if we are already in the 3rd wave, a 1-2, 1-2 setup. This would be a very bullish setup if you get a 1-2, 1-2, because it can confirm some kind of a let's say bullish extension to the upside, that basically in the 3rd wave we've got another larger setup to the upside. But the problem with that 1-2, 1-2 setup is that to keep it the primary count, the price is not allowed to break substantially below the 78.6 retracement. Now, what did we do? We broke below the 114.68 level, which is that 78.6 FIB level. We broke below that actually quite significantly, down to $107, 106. But we recovered within a day. So I can actually not count it as a substantial break. However, it is enough for me to say the other scenario has certainly gained in probability, so that I'm not viewing the direct breakout scenario in the 1-2, 1-2 setup as more likely than the other one. But it is likely as well. Always remember, guys, what I'm showing you here. I'm showing you here 2 or 3, sometimes 3, in this case 2, very likely scenarios. Sometimes you've got the situation where one of them has a 70% probability, just roughly to give you a random number, and the other one might have only 30. That makes it quite clear. But still, does it mean you want to go all in just because it's a 70% probability? That still allows 30% for the other one. What I try to make clear here is that out of the theoretically infinite amount of possibilities, I'm already identifying for you 2 very likely scenarios. Yeah, 2 very likely. They are both highly probable. And in this particular scenario, even between them, the probabilities are quite close. So they are two highly likely scenarios. Now we need to think about how does that work out in terms of a strategy. So it means for me that we need to be on high alert. It could still break out easily. But there is a key level that for me allows me to understand, where would the probabilities shift? So if we break out of this price channel to the upside, without making a new low, this price channel break, which constrains the yellow count to the downside, would indicate to me that we are actually in a direct breakout. 1 2 1 2. Okay. If we continue to follow the price channel in whatever shape or form, I remain focused on the yellow count. And that should take us first into the $100 region, lower, to retest 100, because that's a psychological level. Maybe we get a bounce from there. But in this count, in an ideal world, in the most likely count, we would go with that C wave below the A wave. The C wave in such an ABC structure should usually go below the A wave. Yes, there are exceptions. But it would then be only an exception and a truncation, and can never be the expectation. It would be an exception. So in the very short term now, if I'm going to the 1 hour chart, yesterday I did highlight, I think yesterday, or at least on Telegram, Discord, I did highlight that we are probably in a fourth wave and that we might have started the fourth. Resistance was expected to be at this descending trend line. Now that worked out. We saw resistance got rejected. To count the wave 4 as complete, for me, this looks too impulsive for that. And also time-wise, I would like it to spend a bit more time on the wave 4. So unless it goes unless it goes down directly and breaks below yesterday's low, I'm looking at possibly an extended fourth wave, that we only moved up in an impulse in an A wave. We're now coming down in a B wave here. That B wave could become a bit more complex. And then a C wave. But if it does give us a C wave, it basically needs to turn around now. It could still drop to 109.78, but this is sort of the orange support area where it should turn around if it's giving us a C wave. So they are levels to watch: 114.95, 112.82, 109.78. I already posted on Telegram and Discord before this video that we might see a reaction in this box, and we saw one. So that is an initial reaction here to the 50% FIB level, and it's also the larger 78.6 retracement. Remember the level I showed you for, let's say, the more bullish direct breakout count? It's the same level, basically 114.30, well, roughly 114.40. I didn't draw them very accurately now. But we had some confluence of support, so let's see if it now gives us a C wave. I could imagine in the C wave it might retest the upper channel boundary, the upper boundary of that trend channel. But that's my view about QNT. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.